We've said it a lot of times before, and we'll keep saying it. We humans know way more about outer space than we do about the deep, dark oceans. It's kinda wild, right? The ocean covers most of our planet, but we're still basically clueless about what's down there. Sure, today's deep-sea creatures are nightmare fuel enough, but back in the day was a whole different level of terrifying. The monsters that ruled the ancient seas were way scarier than anything swimming around now. And today we're going to look at 15 of the most terrifying creatures that ruled the ancient seas. Number 15. Mosasaurus. Mosasaurus was a true terror of the ancient seas, cruising through the waters about 72 to 66 million years ago. Imagine something shaped like a cross between a crocodile and a monitor lizard, but supercharged for marine life. Mosasaurs had long, sleek bodies, powerful tails, and snouts packed with sharp teeth. They ruled the prehistoric oceans at a time when competition for survival was absolutely brutal. Overcrowded waters meant fierce battles for food, and only the smartest, fastest, and most adaptable predators made it through. Mosasaurs adapted beautifully to this chaos, using their hydrodynamic builds and flexible diets to hunt everything from fish to other marine reptiles. Some species were specialized hunters, while others were opportunistic feeders. Fossils of Mosasaurus have been uncovered all over the world, from Europe to North America, proving just how successful they were. Today their legacy still lingers, not just in fossils but in the echoes of every ancient sea monster story ever told. Number 14. Placadons. During the Middle to Late Triassic period, around 246 to 229 million years ago, Placadons thrived along the shallow coastal waters of ancient Earth like a beast. These marine reptiles had compact, sturdy bodies, short limbs, and strong tails, almost resembling modern-day seals at a glance. What truly set them apart, though, were their crushing jaws lined with broad, flat teeth, perfect for snapping through the tough shells of mollusks and crustaceans. Early Placadons sported a mix of pointed and flat teeth, but as they evolved, they developed even more specialized adaptations like bony armor plating and beak-like mouths, ideal for rooting around sandy seafloors. Fossils of these creatures have turned up mainly in Europe and China, though their remains are relatively scarce compared to other marine reptiles. Despite their specialized diet and armor, Placadons didn't dominate the oceans like other marine reptiles that followed. Instead, they carved out a niche life along the coastal shallows, thriving in an era just before the rise of more fearsome underwater giants. Number 13. Duncalostius. When it came to prehistoric underwater heavyweights, Duncalostius barely had any competition. This armored giant cruised the seas during the late Devonian period about 350 million years ago, and if size alone didn't scare you, its jaws certainly would. Instead of traditional teeth, Duncalostius had razor-sharp bony plates that snapped together with terrifying force. Some estimates suggest a bite force over 8,000 pounds per square inch. That's stronger than even today's fiercest crocodiles. Its thick armored head and powerful muscles made it capable of biting through just about anything it wanted, including other large marine creatures, and even others of its own kind. Fossils show evidence of cannibalism among these monsters, suggesting they weren't too picky about their meals. Measuring up to 33 feet long, Duncalostius wasn't a fast swimmer, but it didn't need to be. With armor like a tank and jaws like a guillotine, anything that wandered too close probably didn't stick around long enough to regret it. Number 12. Basilosaurus. Despite its misleading name, meaning king lizard, Basilosaurus was no reptile. It was an ancient whale cruising through the oceans roughly 40 to 34 million years ago during the late Eocene epoch. Stretching up to 65 feet long, this early cetacean had an eel-like body and swam with sinuous movements, a sharp contrast to the massive, stocky whales of today. Its long, narrow body and strong tail would have made it a powerful swimmer, staying close to the surface to hunt. Unlike modern whales, Basilosaurus still carried traces of its land-dwelling ancestry, including small, useless hind limbs. Fossils uncovered in North America, Egypt, and Jordan reveal that it was a fierce predator, feeding on fish, sharks, and even other smaller whales. Early settlers once mistook its massive bones for those of a sea serpent or giant reptile, and some were even repurposed as construction materials before their true nature was realized. Basilosaurus stands as a reminder of a time when whales were still finding their place in the oceans. Number 11. Ichthyosaurus. In the waters of the Jurassic period, ichthyosaurs ruled with speed and stealth. These fish-like reptiles first appeared around 150 million years ago and were built like nature's ideal underwater hunters. Their sleek, streamlined bodies could navigate shallow bays and deep oceans with equal ease. Long jaws packed with teeth helped them snag prey like squid, cuttlefish, and a range of smaller marine creatures. Fossil evidence, some of it uncovered in England by famed fossil hunter Mary Anning, revealed that ichthyosaurs came in a wide variety of sizes, from a few feet long to colossal giants stretching over 80 feet. They weren't just impressive predators, their dolphin-like shapes suggest they adapted incredibly well to marine life, likely evolving from land-dwelling reptiles that returned to the sea. Whether hunting alone or gliding through open waters, ichthyosaurs captured an evolutionary balance of speed, agility, and ferocity, setting the standard for what a true marine predator could be millions of years before whales even entered the scene. Number 10. Heloprian. Heloprian looks like a shark, sounds like a nightmare, and genuinely left paleontologists scratching their heads for over a century. This strange sea creature, which showed up around 280 million years ago and vanished in the early Triassic, is best known for its weird spiral of teeth. Fossils revealed a bizarre tooth whorl, basically a circular saw tucked inside its jaw. Early reconstructions had some wild guesses. Some even thought the spiral was stuck on its nose, but modern interpretations firmly place it inside the mouth. Heloprian wasn't exactly a shark, but closer to a ratfish, a strange group of cartilaginous fish. Without a full fossil skeleton to work from, scientists relied on fragmentary clues and some imagination to piece it together. It's believed that Heloprian used its saw-like teeth to slice through squid and other soft-bodied prey. Even without a perfectly clear picture of its full body, the surviving fossil evidence paints it as one of the most bizarre, almost alien predators to have roamed Earth's ancient oceans. Number 9. Chronosaurus. Named after the Greek titan Chronos, Chronosaurus lived up to its mythological namesake's ferocity and size. Roaming the oceans during the early Cretaceous period, around 100 million years ago, this massive marine reptile stretched between 33 and 36 feet in length. Fossils discovered in Australia and Colombia show a creature built for power, with enormous jaws packed with stout conical teeth, designed for gripping and tearing apart anything unfortunate enough to cross its path. Chronosaurus primarily preyed on other marine reptiles, including plesiosaurs and sea turtles, judging by the puncture marks found in fossilized bones. Unlike many marine reptiles that relied on ambush tactics, Chronosaurus seemed well built for active, relentless pursuit, using its large flippers to propel itself rapidly through the water. With a short, broad snout and sheer muscle behind its bite, it truly embodied the spirit of its terrifying namesake. Even among a sea of prehistoric giants, Chronosaurus carved out a reputation as one of the most dominant predators of its age. Alright guys, now let's talk about something scary. Number 8. Nathosaurus. Life in the Triassic seas, roughly 250 to 200 million years ago, had its fair share of sneaky predators, and Nathosaurus was definitely one of them. This semi-aquatic reptile adapted beautifully to a dual lifestyle, slipping between warm coastal waters and sun-baked shores with ease. It had an elongated, flexible body, webbed limbs perfect for swimming, and jaws filled with needle-like teeth designed for catching slippery prey like fish and squid. Nathosaurus likely hunted by stealth, creeping up on unsuspecting prey before snapping its jaws shut with a sudden, violent shake to tear its meal apart. Fossils discovered across Europe, Asia, and North Africa reveal just how widespread these marine reptiles were. Some evidence even hints that different species adapted to slightly different ecological niches. While it wasn't the biggest terror of its time, Nathosaurus made up for it with agility and opportunism, thriving in a world teeming with emerging marine reptiles and fierce competition along every stretch of the ancient shoreline. Number 7. Elasmosaurus. Among the many marine reptiles of the late Cretaceous, Elasmosaurus stood out, and not just because of its sheer size. Living roughly 80 million years ago, this plesiosaur measured up to 50 feet long, with more than half of that length dedicated solely to its famously slender neck. Elasmosaurus was equipped with 4 powerful flippers, helping it glide through the ocean's depths with surprising grace, despite its odd proportions. Its extremely long neck, consisting of around 71 vertebrae, allowed it to stealthily approach schools of fish without alarming them. One well-known misstep in paleontology came when its early discoverer mistakenly placed its skull on the wrong end of the skeleton, a blunder that became legendary during the heated 19th century bone wars between Edward Drinker Cope and Othniel Charles Marsh. Today, Elasmosaurus remains an icon of prehistoric marine life, its strange body plan sparking endless fascination about how it actually hunted and moved through the waters of an ancient world. Number 6. Livotan. Among the ancient ocean's most brutal predators, Livotan melville stood at the very top. Roaming the seas around 9.9 to 8.9 million years ago, this prehistoric whale rivaled the size and ferocity of the infamous megalodon. With teeth over a foot long, the biggest known among predatory mammals, Livotan was a nightmare for anything swimming nearby. Its skull alone suggests a creature capable of tackling other large marine animals, including smaller whales. Sadly, only partial remains, such as its jaw, skull fragments, and some monstrous teeth, have ever been recovered. Scientists have pieced together its probable appearance using comparisons with the modern sperm whale. Its name, drawn from the biblical sea monster Leviathan, couldn't be more fitting. Livotan was a symbol of ancient marine dominance, wielding size, strength, and a mouthful of lethal weaponry. In an ocean already filled with sharks and giant marine reptiles, Livotan wasn't just another predator, it was one of the ocean's ultimate heavyweights. Number 5. Plesiosaurus. Plesiosaurs were absolute powerhouses of the ancient oceans, ruling the seas between 160 and 145 million years ago during the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. These massive marine reptiles were apex predators, armed with enormous skulls, elongated muscular bodies, and ridiculously strong jaws. Their streamlined shape let them slice through the water with surprising ease, despite their intimidating bulk. Those terrifying mouths were packed with huge conical teeth, perfect for clamping down on fish, squid, and even fellow marine reptiles. They bore a general resemblance to the plesiosaurs but had noticeably shorter necks and far bigger, more menacing heads. Some of the biggest species, including one found in Norway, stretched up to a staggering 10 to 13 meters long, making them among the largest carnivores of their time. With their monstrous appearance and lethal hunting skills, it's pretty safe to say that if you were swimming around back then, you'd have wanted to steer clear of anything remotely shaped like a plesiosaur. Number 4. Tully Monster. Few fossils have stirred more debate than the Tully Monster, a 300-million-year-old oddball pulled from the Mazon Creek fossil beds in Illinois. Discovered by Francis Tully in 1958, this strange creature was an evolutionary mystery box, sporting a tubular body, stalked eyes, and an extendable proboscis tipped with tiny teeth. The Tully Monster looked like a creature stitched together from leftover parts. In 2016, researchers using cutting-edge imaging techniques suggested it might belong to the vertebrate family, closely related to jawless fish like lampreys, based on features like gill structures and a notochord. Yet some scientists still aren't fully convinced where it belongs on the evolutionary tree. The debate rages on, but one thing is certain: this prehistoric anomaly was unlike anything swimming in oceans today. Whether it prowled ancient estuaries or deeper waters remains up for discussion, but its unsettling appearance and baffling biology make the Tully Monster a standout among Earth's strangest ancient creatures. Number 3. Plesiosaurus. Plesiosaurs were the iconic long-necked marine reptiles of the early Jurassic period, cruising the oceans from around 215 to 65.5 million years ago. We mean, just look at these monsters. They called the waters around Europe, Australia, North America, and parts of Asia home, gliding gracefully with their 4 paddle-like flippers. Unlike today's fish, they breathed air and may have laid their eggs on beaches like modern sea turtles, or perhaps even gave birth to live young. Though scientists are still debating that, their trademark look was the combination of tiny heads perched atop long, flexible necks attached to broad, rounded bodies. Plesiosaurs mostly fed on fish and small marine life, snapping up prey with quick strikes. Some species stayed relatively small, about 7 feet long, while others grew to an impressive 50 feet. No matter the size though, if you saw one of these ancient swimmers gliding by, you probably wouldn't forget it anytime soon. They truly were among the most fascinating creatures lurking in ancient seas. Number 2. Shasttosaurus. Shasttosaurus was nothing short of a giant among marine reptiles. Living around 210 million years ago during the Triassic period, this massive ichthyosaur was one of the largest ocean creatures ever discovered. Fossils found in places like British Columbia have revealed a colossal animal stretching up to 69 feet long, putting it close in size to today's blue whales. Despite its terrifying dimensions, Shasttosaurus wasn't a fierce predator. Unlike other ichthyosaurs with sharp teeth for tearing flesh, it had a toothless, narrow skull, suggesting it fed mainly by suction, drawing in small fish and squid. Its sleek, streamlined body, along with relatively tiny flippers, points to a creature built more for steady cruising than high-speed pursuits. Compared to later marine reptiles, Shasttosaurus carried a surprisingly slim build, favoring grace over brute strength. Its evolutionary path reflected a time when gigantism was becoming a trend among sea life, though in Shasttosaurus's case, it chose efficiency and size over sheer aggression in a bustling prehistoric world. What do you think about this beastie? Let us know. Number 1. Tannistrophus. Tannistrophus was one of the weirdest reptiles to have ever swum or stumbled around Earth, living roughly 242 million years ago during the Middle Triassic period. Belonging to a group called Plesiosaurus, it shared distant ancestry with modern lizards and snakes. Its entire vibe was basically neck, and more neck, because this creature's absurdly long neck made up over half of its total body length. Imagine a neck stretching 10 to 15 feet long, balanced on a spindly, awkward little body. Scientists believe its neck, packed with dozens of delicate vertebrae, was highly flexible, allowing Tannistrophus to snatch fish from shallow waters without much effort. Whether it was strictly aquatic or just semi-aquatic remains up for debate, but there's no doubt it was a carnivore. Fossils of this bizarre creature have popped up across Europe, the Middle East, and North America. Even now, experts still argue over whether that insane neck was built for fishing, filter feeding, or even reaching into vegetation. Either way, Tannistrophus was an evolutionary oddball in every sense. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon in the next one.